So hello learners, welcome to YourPedia education. So today we are here at IIT Mandi. I got an opportunity to interact with one of the esteemed Associate Professor Mr. Rahul. So in this interaction we will discuss about his research area, about his lab and what kind of courses he take in the UG program and PG program. So this video is very helpful and very informative for those students who are interested in pursuing their higher education like in PhD, MS and m.tech. So first of all, thank you Professor Rahul.
Thank you, sir.
For sparing few minutes from your busy schedule. So before we proceed ahead with the discussion, so I wanted you to introduce your academic journey and your research area with our viewers so that they can relate with you, please.
Thank you so much. So my name is Dr. Rahul Shrestha. So I have started my PhD journey at IIT Guwahati. So I completed my PhD there in 2014. So thereafter I worked for a few years in IIT Hyderabad as an assistant professor. Then I moved into IIT Mandi as an assistant professor, and recently I have been promoted to associate professor. So I'm a faculty in the School of Computing and Electrical Engineering at IIT Mandi, and I'm working in the field of VLSI. So VLSI being a very vast domain, so I am basically focusing on the digital domain of VLSI. So I work in the field of designing digital architectures for various applications, right. For VLSI, for communication, signal processing, and AI, ML, so on and so forth. So VLSI is a domain where we can apply in various fields. It's not only in one specific field, but to have a good knowledge about the fundamentals is very important. So my research basically focuses on how do we not only design an architecture or a hardware, also look things from a mathematical aspect, right, of any algorithm and make those algorithms more suitable for hardware implementation,
right.
And then converting that into more hardware compliant architectures,
right.
And implementing, prototyping and doing the testing up to the system level.
Right.
So I'm basically focusing on the cognitive radio applications and more of biomedical applications for AI and ML. These are the areas where I'm currently focusing. I'm also teaching UG and PG courses at IIT Mandi.
Right.
The PG courses, like we have a very good course on digital VLSI architecture design, right, which is one of the unique course at IIT Mandi.
Okay.
So which is an amalgamation of how do we convert an algorithm into an architecture, and how do we use this in various applications. And also I teach some of the fundamental courses like digital MOS LSI,
right,
where we start from the MOS technology and how do we use those MOS transistors to build a basic fundamental digital gates,
right.
And how do we design a memory and that aspects,
right.
And at the UG level I also teach some of the digital system design courses,
right,
and logic design courses, and some basic labs I take. So these are the courses. I'm also floating some of my own elective courses for PhD and MS students at IIT Mandi. So these are the things that I'm currently doing at IIT Mandi.
That's quite impressive, Rahul. So as you told, you're taking both courses, UG courses and PG courses.
Yes.
So I think you are the better person or in the better position to answer this question. Obviously, the students who are in undergraduate courses, they have come after completing their school education directly.
Yes.
And when we see for the PG, so obviously they have taken some initial flavor of engineering at the bachelor level.
Yes.
So how difficult is being a mentor or being a faculty for you to teach those subjects which are core electronic subjects, same at UG level and same at PG level? You know, what changes you need to do in your teaching methodology?
Yeah, so it's a very nice question. Thanks for that. So at the UG level, students are very open-minded.
True.
So they are coming from, let us say, after their 10+2, and they are very open to learn. They are very enthusiastic, and in case of PG, they are very much focused and very serious guys. Like when you have two different classes, you can see the environment of the class is different.
Ambience is also
very different, right, and the kind of attention what you get.
Right.
So when we teach some UG students, it is very difficult for us to retain the interest,
right,
because they are very very open, and they are not looking into only into VLSI or circuit design.
Right.
They might be thinking about data science, they might be thinking about AI, they might be thinking about pattern recognition, and this would be one of the subjects that you are teaching.
Right.
So to retain that interest in the students, it's a challenging thing. So I need to relate my subject with various things.
True.
So I need to give them a lot of example of how the circuit design is so important and how it is related to a real world application, and mostly also how these courses are really helpful for them to get a good job in India. And so because many students, most of the students who join at UG are looking forward to join very reputed companies or to have their own startups. So I need to motivate them a lot. Whereas in PG, it's very focused guys are there. So I don't have to worry about keeping them intact with the interest, but I need to worry about the quality which I have to bring in and tell them the state of the art and going deeper into the subjects. These are the two things which
I want to add one point here. I don't know whether you will comply with me or not. When students are coming for PG courses, they are coming with some purpose, specific purpose, that we want good job, we want to, they want to use IIT as a, path for their objective. So because they already have invested so much time into engineering, and some of them have the great failure and frustration, they want to improve that thing. And when it comes to UG courses, they have the great mind, they are the young mind, the energy is there, and they basically are influenced by the today's technology trends. And they want to consider themselves as an innovative leader. They enjoy that technique. Like, if Uber, I'm using the Uber, how Uber works. I'm using the Ola, how Ola works. That might be the minds of that UG student, not the PG student. That is my observation.
So, but the PG students are very good in bringing quality in the existing work, and UG students are very good in innovating something.
True.
So that's what I feel. Whenever because even I float a lot of projects for UG and PG students, the kind of work they do in the projects, I can see that difference.
True.
So PG students required, okay, if you do this, they will do it in a very systematic way and bring it to a very next level. But I feel that they are little not open to the problems.
So Rahul, I want to know your perspective also on one point. See, we have multiple prestigious institutions, even 23, 22 IIT we have, right? And every IIT is having some different name for the specialization, in which mostly students are studying VLSI only. Like somebody have system on chip design, somewhere it's microelectronics, somewhere it's VLSI, somewhere it's solid state device, somewhere it's integrated circuit. So my question to you is directly, being a student, how important is it to just go with the name of specialization? How basically a beginner student can configure that this branch is about what? Right, that is my question.
So I think that's a very good question, because there are various IITs floating the same course with the different names.
True.
But in fact, what I suggest to the young generation is that definitely all the IITs give you a premium education, and all the faculties are well qualified to give you a good education. But at least if they are looking into some specific areas, if they know their interest, it's always go and look into the facilities which are there in the institute. And also, if they have time, they can also go into and look into the profile of the faculties.
Very true.
What kind of area they are working on, what kind of papers they are publishing, what kind of patents they are, what kind of projects they are. Because if you go and look into the website of any IITs, it's very comprehensive. Okay, so that is one thing. And also maybe they can also have a conversation with some of the current students of that particular IIT and get a good feedback from them. And also look into some of the theses which has come out from the IIT, which are already available in the online platform nowadays. Okay, so this kind of things can be definitely done by students, and have an overall look of what kind of environment that you are actually looking for. So little bit of homework you need to do it. Just don't go by the name. Okay, go by the quality of faculty which is there in the institute, the quality of thesis works which are coming out from the institute, and definitely placements are always good in VLSI. Most of the institute is good, but the quality of people is more important in the institute. The mentors which they get. Right?
So continuing this question, so when we are going to take admission in some courses, or in some degree program, So there are two key parameter, I will say, or two important factors. So one is students are in dilemma whether they should follow their interest, whether they should follow the technology trend, the
Yeah.
buzz around the world.
Yeah.
So what is your take on this?
See, so here I have my own perspective.
Yes.
So even when I was doing my PhD, even in that time, when I joined as a PhD student in IIT Guwahati,
Right.
I had a great interest of doing my work in device electronics,
Great.
in fabrication, and I was interviewed on that itself, and I took one semester of coursework.
Okay.
So suddenly I felt that no, this is not though I did very well in all the courses related to that area, but I felt that maybe this is not the place where I want to do my work for another next 4 to 5 years. So suddenly my inclination went towards digital design.
If you don't mind, what was the thinking behind that? Why you were into that direction, that this might not be
So
the course,
it's
if you are comfortable?
Maybe it's because of it can be various factors, but personally for me, it was probably the kind of circle which I had,
Okay.
maybe the kind of lab mates which I had, and I felt the need of doing work in this area because I saw device electronics is done by many people, even from the physics background, people are also doing it.
Right.
And I thought like maybe digital is the domain where we need more work in our country,
Right.
because you see that digital is a very highly demanded domain where as soon as you get graduate or postgraduate, you are absorbed by some company.
Right.
So there is no potential research which is coming out from this area.
Okay.
So that was one of the motivation which I thought like if I do in this area, that would be a very good area where I can guide students when I become a professor later on.
Right.
So that way I feel. So coming back to your question, saying that how do we do this? Whether we should go with the latest trend or we should stick on to the interest.
Right.
So I feel that it is like it should be 70-30.
Okay.
70-30 in the sense I think 70% should be your interest.
Right.
That should be very important.
True.
And 30% definitely to some extent the maybe a training kind of work which is there. That's because 70% what I am saying, because that will keep you intact. Your interest will be there in that, because later on maybe after 2 years you might lose interest, and maybe the quality of work which you are producing might not be great.
And sorry to interrupt you, this might be the reason today's world I'm seeing many students are dropping their PhD.
Yeah.
Because they have joined PhD courses for the name of IIT only, and in some interdisciplinary domain, but they don't actually have the interest, but forcefully at that time because of the name branding they have taken the admission.
See, it can be from it might not only be from the student side. There might be n number of factors because of which students lose their interest towards PhD. Or see, one factor is probably, according to me, see, PhD is something like a Gaussian curve. If you see, initially it is very smooth when the coursework are going on. As soon as you pass first year, second year, then the pressure builds up, and even because as the time passes, you need to apply more of your critical thinking rather than a conventional thinking. Right? Conventional thinking means you are doing coursework, writing exam, getting good grades, having fun with your classmates. That is well, but research is not that. After 1 year, you finish your coursework, you enter into the domain where you have to do something new. So there, where the hurdle comes, where the critical thinking is required. So many students tend to and kind of not able to handle that pressure. So probably that might be the one reason. See, at that, I feel that at that point, guide's role is very important, where the guide has to be there with the student, not as a student. I feel that at PhD level or at the MS level, they are like a colleagues.
Right.
So you have to be there with him or her at every time in the lab, or discuss with the problem, and always not only talk about technical things, motivate them, and make sure that you are there for them.
Right.
Even if they are losing out. Right. So you are there for them. Even if their papers are getting rejected, you console them, you give them more feedbacks, you give them assurance that no, next time you will come up with the better thing.
Right.
So this kind of things, it might be from the guide side, it might be from the student side. So it's a collaborative work.
True. So my next question is related to your own domain only. Now we have two very big world. One is analog, one is digital.
Yeah.
So you are here into digital VLSI design.
Yes.
So in layman language, the person who just graduated
Yeah.
and willing further to proceed ahead with the VLSI.
Yeah.
Reason might be because of passion, because of opportunity, or because of some other things.
Yeah.
So how do you basically broadly categorize this term analog VLSI design and digital VLSI design?
Now you see, both of them have its own importance, their own importance, right? Like if you see any device, if you look at the mobile handset designs, IoT devices or medical devices, everywhere there are some portion of analog, some portion of digital, right? So it depends. Like for example, in mobile handsets, maybe 60% is digital, and let us say 30% or 40% is analog part, right? So if you look at the demand, what market has, probably it is for both the engineers,
right?
So digital seems to be occupying a larger area in your chip or in your design. However, the quality of understanding is equally important in case of analog also, because even the percentage is less, but the amount of effort that you have to put to design those analog circuits is equally same as that of the amount of area, amount of knowledge required to design your digital chips, right? So it is definitely, first is the interest what the student should have, whether they are looking for digital or they are looking for analog. Okay, so that's why I said that you need to do a bit of a homework. What is the digital? What is analog? Right? So where actually I'm interested in. Okay, so usually students say that okay, I'm interested in analog. So after spending semester long or 1 year, they feel that no man, this is not my area.
Right.
So that should not happen. So at least, because nowadays there is a lot of information available in online platform, right? Students can go through it and kind of understand those things. So I'm saying that students should not think that if I take digital, that is the only thing which is there. It doesn't have an analog, and only analog is the thing which where the market is there. Both the things, the market is equally there.
Right.
Okay. So first thing is the interest what they have. Okay. So both the domains are very interesting in VLSI. Okay. So it's up to the students.
So that's great. That's great. Now coming to your research lab work.
Yeah.
So in IIT Mandi specifically, in your research lab, what are the latest innovation? What are the latest key project you are working on?
So in our lab, so my lab is called Digital Design and Testing Lab. So where we basically work on various signal processing chipsets and communication chipsets. So it is not only the electronics that we are designing. So as I told you earlier in the talk, in my talks, I said that we start from the algorithm, come to the architecture, and go for the hardware prototyping. So nowadays, what I feel is it's very important for a hardware designer to be very open. So it's not be like I'm in VLSI, and that means I'm only doing circuits. Okay, so you are doing circuits or you are making circuits for certain application. Okay, so and some people might think, see, this is a work of some theoretician. He gives me an algorithm or application, then I implement it. That's it. That's done. Okay, but that may not be a good practice for any designers. Okay, so even going into designing some application, we need to always understand the algorithm. Right, and at least may not be we have to go into a very depth of that algorithm, but at least understand how it works. What is the mathematics? Because see, every engineer is good in mathematics. So they have done some fundamental courses. Okay, even if they have forgotten some concept, they can again go back and relook at into the books, and they can definitely realize, okay, what is the mathematics behind it. And rather than going directly into a hardware, they need to rethink that can we still do some sort of a optimization or redesign the algorithm so that it is more efficient in hardware. So coming to that is the workflow what we do in our lab. So currently there are 3 to 4 PhD students who are working in the lab. So we go up to chip design. So we have currently fabricated, starting from after my PhD, after I joined IIT Mandi, I fabricated 2 chips. So one is for the 4G. It was I fabricated in 2000. Before 4 to 5 years back. So that was something on the turbo decoder chips. So where we tested and we have published and we have patented that.
Okay, great.
And we have also worked on the cognitive related spectrum sensing part. Okay, so where we have designed a chipset for the cooperative spectrum sensing. Okay, from the algorithm till the your chip design. So we have designed the architecture, we have patented the architectures, and then done the chip design and then implemented it. and then tested that in making a network in our lab.
Right.
And the third thing is we are also working on the AI ML accelerators,
Right.
designing it. So this is on the process right now. So we have already done the emulation on the FPGAs. So we are in the process of testing it with the real world biomedical signals. Okay, so these are the work. Other works are also going on, but these are the major works which are going on in my lab.
That's quite impressive. It sounds so good. Okay, so as you introduced one point, AI and ML accelerator, right? I'm coming to that point.
Yes.
So, since last 4 to 5 years, AI and ML, are competing in terms of the job opportunity when it comes to the VLSI.
Yeah.
So many students have this doubt, sir, in long run, see what I believe every technology is scaled after some time.
Yeah.
There are some huge changes which happen.
Yeah.
So what is basically impact of those on VLSI, whether they are helpful for the VLSI designer, or do we have the fear in coming time that things will become automated, so VLSI people might lose their interest and their corporate job and all things. What is your take on this?
No, see, the demand for VLSI, I feel that it is going to be there, because see, even now you see that, many times people say that we make everything automated, we will even design, make this EDA, tools operate in an automated fashion, or in using some machine learning or AI. Okay, but see, definitely when you do some chip design, you need the efficiency of the designer who can look into minute things.
True,
right?
True.
So it might be very difficult for any AI and ML applications to go into those details and look into things. And another aspect is that when you talk about some design in hardware or VLSI, right? So we need to optimize as a designer. Right. So maybe, for example, to be more precise, suppose if I want to operate some design at a very high frequency.
Right.
Okay. Or maybe I want to increase the throughput. So people might say throughput and frequencies are very same, but they are very different when they do. Right. So if you do that, maybe some hardware will be more, or maybe the power consumption is more. How do we reduce that? So there are specific techniques that we need to use it.
Right.
Okay. So AI and ML might be able to design systems which are very conventional.
Right.
Okay, for an application, but to add on a more, or to improve the performance of that particular system, definitely we need experts from VLSIs. Right. So definitely, I think, and also, as you said that if this disruptive technologies might be a risk for the VLSI engineers, I feel no.
Okay.
Because companies will not take take a risk to go ahead with the chip fabrication.
Right.
Which is being done by some sort of AI/ML thing, which is not reliable right now. Maybe it might be after a long time, but still we need an expertise of the experienced real designers who can actually make the chip work.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a nice conversation. So now I'm coming to final question.
Yeah.
So if somebody is passionate about research in digital VLSI design and he want to join IIT Mandi.
Yeah.
So being a faculty, being a professor, being a mentor here.
Yeah.
What are those key points you always check, you always desire, you have the prerequisite that this person should have these skill set at least at some preliminary level?
Yeah, very good question. So it is basically addressing to the aspiring students who wants to join at IIT Mandi. See, the first thing is definitely we will look into their fundamentals. Fundamentals in the sense, maybe something on signal systems, or see which are the courses which you have taken in the initial days of your B.Tech, like digital design, or Morris Manor book is there, so that digital design is there, and signal system, OpenHAM is there. So all those fundamental aspects we see, and maybe at least some aspect of coding. Need not be the Verilog or HDL or VHDL. At least if they have done some sort of a C programming,
at least you must understand basically how
they understand how the program works and have an experience of doing some kind of a program onto that. And now these are the things that first thing we see in the students, and the second thing what we see is also an attitude. Attitude is very important for us.
Very important.
Okay, suppose if there are two students, one student is extremely good, right, but they have an arrogance. And if another guy is okay, moderately good, but that guy has a kind of what you say, very passion or passion in the sense he has the ability to rethink the questions what we are asking them,
Right.
and he or she is trying to answer that. So whenever I ask some question in the interview and students goes there and somebody says, "Sir, I don't know this," and without trying, again I ask another question, says, "No, I don't know this." But if there are some guys who sit there and try to figure out, okay, maybe I get a close by solution. So I can see that guy has a passion to go into depth into that particular, and he has the thrust of learning things.
Right.
So that is very important for us.
Right.
Okay.
So that I also keep on suggesting the student also, in interview you are giving a wrong answer, right answer, that hardly matter.
Yeah.
You can't evaluate the knowledge of a person only on the basis of the 4 to 5 questions, whether they answer correctly or not. It's the approach, it's the process, whether you are interacting with the person who is taking your interview, you have the capability to think. You can ask him the assistance.
Yes.
That if you can assist me at this point, definitely I'm stuck at that, I will do it. So
Because
that
see,
mindset
yeah,
is there.
because once a student joins over here, it is the full responsibility of the supervisor.
Right.
Okay, because tomorrow somebody says that this student is not good, so it directly hurts us.
True.
They are something, they are like our kids.
Right.
Okay, so before taking them into our family, we'll have to see a lot of things. Maybe not only the technical aspects, because sometimes many students just mail me and tell me, "Sir, my interview has gone so nice, and I think I am the best, but why didn't you select us?"
Right.
But I cannot tell them the reason, but it is obviously internal things.
Right.
So we, along with the technical knowledge, fundamental, at least see, worry about the fundamental. We are not going to ask you rocket science.
True. Right.
Okay, if fundamentals are clear, that is sufficient for us.
Right.
From there on, we groom you.
Right.
So along with the fundamentals of electronics and something on signal systems, have a good attitude
Right.
to learn things.
Right.
Okay, that's it.
So I hope this conversation will definitely help, and it will be very informative for the aspiring researchers. It sounds that there is a lot to look forward to, but it's the wrap-up time for us. So thank you so much, sir, for
my
sparing few minutes and giving your valuable insight and experience. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.